Greetings, everyone. Thank you for joining my Aisha Speaks Jade Facebook page, where I am none other than Aisha, also known as Jade. And I would like to welcome you to my Makeup Live audio for Friday, December the 14th, 2018. So this evening, I would like to speak about, and hopefully you guys might get a pen and paper or a notepad and jot some things down. But if not, you can certainly listen to the replay, which will be available shortly after. So this evening, I would like to speak to you guys about 12 personal finance tips and tricks to make you to have financial wealth or stability. So again, that is 12 personal finance tips and tricks to have financial wealth or stability. So when you read a lot of finance books and blogs, you come across a ton of different personal finance tips and tricks. This can make personal finance seem like a massive, overwhelming, and complicated topic, but it's really not. So what you want to do is, after I speak about these 12 pieces of financial advice, hopefully you'll have more control over your money and you'll live a much better life financially. So keep this in mind. This won't be easy because most things aren't easy and things are not fixed overnight unless you have this huge amount of money where you can just take care of everything and knock it out and, with that. But for most people, it's not something that's going to happen overnight. But if you are consistent and discipline yourself, it can happen in a reasonable amount of time. So let's jump right into this. So the first would be spend less than you earn. So yes, I do know it sounds obvious, right? Well, it must not be, because according to CNBC, 78% of Americans working full-time are living paycheck to paycheck. And that is so true. Especially in this time, generation, a lot of people say, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. So here's the thing. It's easy to know that you should be spending less than you earn. It's a lot harder to actually do it. However, if you want to escape the paycheck to paycheck lifestyle that so many others live, you need to spend less than you earn. This is one of the most crucial but basic personal finance tips ever. So in order to do this, you need to track your spending. You can do this by either writing your purchases down or by using a free personal finance app. So you can certainly YouTube or you can Google a free personal finance app. The second would be learn to budget. And I know that can be hard because that's hard for me. Yes, it is. Learning how to budget. You might hear the word budget and cringe a little, but you shouldn't. Budgeting is not hard, and it doesn't mean you have to stop doing things you enjoy. Budgeting is simply creating a plan for your money so you have a better idea of where it's going every month. A popular and effective way to budget is with that 50-30 rule, the 50-30-20 rule. So make sure you Google that too. But I'm going to give you an idea of what that 50-30-20 rule is. So how it works is 50% of your income goes towards the necessities such as bills, food, housing, etc. 20% of your income goes towards savings, and the remaining 30% you can use for whatever you please. So let me say that again. 50% of your income goes towards the necessities. Again, that could be like the really important stuff. Bills, your food, your housing. I'm sure if gas, something like that. 20% of your income goes towards your savings. And then the remaining of it, which is the 30%, you can use it for whatever you want. This is a nice and easy way to break down your paycheck, but you might need to adjust it a bit to fit your lifestyle. The third is break down your income and expenses. Credit for this one goes to user Geek Limit, GeekLimit, Geek Limit on Reddit. So this is a favorite personal finance tip. This is an odd little trick that can change the perspective you have about your money and help you budget better. It's all about breaking your income and expenses down into daily values. So, for example, if you make $2,500 a month, equal $83 a day. You pay, let's say, $800 a month for rent, which equals $27 a day. You pay $200 a month for car insurance, which equals $7 a day. And everything else, which would be food, phone, gas, etc., comes to, let's say, $750 a month, which equals $25 a day. That means you're left with $24 a day in spending money. So if you want to save, let's say, $1,000, perhaps for a nice vacation, you'll have to save about 42 days worth of your spending money. That means 42 days of not spending a dime. I wonder how many people could do that. I'm sure if you've never gotten into the habit of saving or budgeting, I'm sure it could be like a task. So if you wanted to buy a new $10,000 car, that's about 416 days worth of your spending money, right? 416 days worth of your spending money. This will help you see how far purchases are going to set you back and affect your spending ability. Number 4, pay yourself first. This personal finance tip is another common way that can have a huge impact on your finances. When you pay yourself first, you're investing in your financial future. You're investing in future you and your future will thank you for doing so. So why not just pay yourself at the end of the month? That's a lot easier, right? You guys think that's a lot easier? Well, the reason why paying yourself first works so well is that once that money is sent to a savings account, you're a lot less likely to spend it. If you wait until the end of the month to pay yourself, you might not have any money left. Future you will be very sad with no money. Make the future you happy by investing in yourself. So here's a little PS for you. The best way to pay yourself first is to do it automatically. Set up an auto deposit with Wealth Simple. That's WealthSimple. Wealth Simple. And you'll never have to think about saving money again. It will just happen. Okay, so consider setting up again an auto deposit with Wealth Simple. So make sure you guys check that out. Number 5, have financial goals. If you want to accomplish financial goals, you need to figure out what goals are important to you first. Having a clear goal can keep you motivated and help you come up with a plan to reach that goal even faster. Now, don't think that you need to set outrageous goals. If this is your first time thinking about personal financial goals, start off small and work your way up from there. So, a few suggestions with coming up with a few different goals are what you want to achieve in the next 3 months, in the next year, in the next 5 years. This way, you'll have some short-term goals to look forward to and some long-term goals to work towards as well. Your short-term goals may even be small stepping stones towards your bigger goals. So here are some examples of some good financial goals. Save $1,000. Perhaps buying a house. Start investing. And those goals kind of sound like something I want to do because I do want to save towards a trip for 2019. So I have to start working on it and I have to discipline myself. And I have to be disciplined and consistent with it. And I definitely made a decision because I have been going back and forth, but have made a final decision that I do want to buy a home. And of course, I've been speaking about investing. So those goals kind of work for me. I'm not sure. It doesn't have to be exactly what I just read or what I just spoke on. It could be whatever goal it is for you. So remember to set long-term and short-term goals and keep track of them. Write them down somewhere and set a day each month to track your progress. You have to make sure you are accountable. The 6th one would be a credit card is not free money. A credit card is a useful tool in your finance toolkit, but it's not free money. When you purchase something with your credit card, you are borrowing money from the bank. If you don't give that money back in time, the bank is going to start charging you interest on your balance. That's why it's important to do your absolute very best with paying that money back in a timely manner instead of prolonging it. And I understand things may come up. I get all that. And I speak for myself as well, because I'm currently making sure that I get on my game as well. So this debt can build up and become a monster. It can become a beast. It will get you. Yes. You can try to push it to the side, not deal with it, but believe me, it catches up to you. So again, it can become a monster if you don't pay off your balance every month. Those interest fees alone will kill you. And I don't mean literally kill you. I mean, they will put you in overwhelmed, stressed mode. However, if you use a credit card responsibly and pay off the balance every month, it's a good way to start building credit. Most credit cards also have other benefits such as reward points, cash back, or travel points. So, should you have a credit card? Well, it depends. If you're capable of paying off the balance in full every month, then you should have no problem managing a credit card and staying out of debt. Here's another little PS. If you are going to use a credit card, you should monitor your credit score and credit report regularly with a free tool like Money Tips. And if you live in the Canada area, they even have one for you guys called Borrowell. So that's Borrowell. Borrowell. But for others that are not in the Canada area, you can use a free tool again, and it's called Money Tips. MoneyTips. Money Tips. Here's another tip. Treat your credit card as a debit card. Pay it off in full every day if you have to. So try to pay off your balance every couple of weeks so that you don't forget it. That's just another little tip. 7, stay out of bad debt. Stay out of bad debt. Debt means you owe someone money. And if you learned anything at all, you'll never want to owe someone money. Like, that is one of my pet peeves. If I owe people money, and I try my hardest not to, first of all, I try my hardest not to ask people for money. Or for that matter, ask people for anything like on a personal tip. But in the event that has to happen, for whatever that reason is, because I know a lot of times we all can fall short. But again, my apologies, guys. Yes, make sure that you don't get into the habit of owing people, because people going to come back and be like, I'll let you borrow some money. What's up? So if you have to owe, make sure you pay that back. So to my understanding, I'm not owing anybody. So again, you never want to owe someone money. However, not all debt is necessarily bad debt. So what is bad debt? Bad debt is any debt that's occurred through purchasing something that's going to lose value and generate zero revenue. So an example of bad debt would be credit card debt or an auto loan. So what's good debt? Good debt is the opposite of bad debt. Good debt is acquired so that you can purchase something that is going to benefit you financially in the future. That means it's either going to generate income or allow you to make more money in the future. Good debt usually has a lower interest rate as well. So here's some examples of what good debt is. Student loan. I don't see where the good debt is going with that, but we're gonna work it out. Student loans. Since student loans typically have a very low interest rate and going to school can increase your pay as an employee in the future, student loans can be considered good debt. However, if you're going to college just because you don't know what else to do after high school, that's probably the wrong move. You could end up wasting a lot of money studying a field that you don't even enjoy. Then you'll be stuck working a job you hate to pay off your student loans, which is not fun. And also, I think it can go another way. You go to school for what you want to go for. You get that degree. You stay in school for maybe 8+ years. You get out, and a lot of times you're not in that field that you want to be in after you've gone to school for that length of time. And you're working in other areas to pay it off. But in any event, we just need to, again, do our best and pay these debts off. The next is mortgage. So this one's a tricky one, but mortgages are generally considered good debt. They are usually long-term loans with low interest rates. So you'll still have money freed up for investments and such. The interest from mortgages is also tax deductible. So that's a bonus. In the end, it's up to you to decide whether purchasing a home is the right move, as the value of a house will not always rise as some people think. You'll also have to add in the expenses of property tax, utilities, and home insurance. So it's a big decision when you're talking about you want to purchase a home and then have that home. You have to factor in that you are responsible for taking care of that house. You are not a renter. You have to put out money to keep your home up. It's all about equity. Business debt. There are a lot of online business ideas you can start on the cheap these days, or reasonable these days, but a small investment can also go a long way in certain endeavors. Business loans are considered good debt because they are put towards something with the goal of increasing your net worth. Okay, so the student loans, the mortgage, and the business debt were considered what is a good debt. 8, have an emergency fund. If you lost your job tomorrow, would you honestly have enough money to live off while you look for a new one? And I think that is an important question, because you never know what can happen. Jobs are not guaranteed, right? A lot of jobs just fall. A lot of jobs go overseas, and everybody just can't go overseas. Things happen. So yes, if you were told you no longer have a job, are you set up like that where you have some money until you find another job? That's something that we have to think about. So this study found that although Americans are doing a better job at saving, around 24% of them, which is 57 million people, don't have an emergency fund. And again, emergencies can happen all the time. But it's just good to know that you can get yourself prepared. If you're not already prepared, if you don't have an emergency fund already set up, you may really need to consider that just in case. And it's not wishing anything bad on anyone. It's just the reality of it. Even for those that may have their own businesses, the economy, one day something can happen, or something can happen to you. You just want to be smart about it and think ahead. So you can't predict an emergency, but you can prepare for one. So the best way to do so is to set up an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months living expenses. That means if you lost your job tomorrow, you'll be able to live off your emergency fund for 3 to 6 months while you look for a new job. Or again, if you have your own business, worst case scenario, something happens, you'll still have an emergency fund set up for you, because the bills don't stop. Let me tell you that. I don't know if you didn't realize that, but the mortgages or the rent, the taxes, the home insurance, all of that. Like none of that stops. Things still need to be taken care of. So make sure you guys prepare yourself. So here are some common financial emergencies, which is a job loss, car problems, house repairs, natural disasters, medical or dental expenses. I mean, that could be for yourself, or if you have children, for your children, for your spouse. Anything can happen. Any situation could come about. So just make sure that you guys start thinking smart and set that emergency fund up. And I'm going to be accountable too. I need to do it as well. 9, know your net worth. Net worth can seem like a tricky topic, but it's quite simple. Your net worth is how much money you are worth. If you were to sell everything you own, then pay off everything you owe, how much money would be left? So that's your net worth. So again, if you were to sell everything you own, then pay off everything you owe, how much money would be left? And that's your net worth. So here's what that looks like in an equation form, right? So your net worth equals your assets. That's what you own. And what your liability is, what you owe. Okay? Net worth equals assets, what you owe. Liabilities is what you owe. So again, I just want to make sure I'm saying that so you can understand. Net worth equals your assets, what you own. OWN. Liabilities is what you owe. OWE. So if you're ready to calculate your net worth, this is how you do it. First, create a list of all your assets, what you own. OWN. And their estimated value. So here's some examples of assets. Money, investments, real estate, cars, jewelry. So at the bottom of the list, add up the total value of all your assets. Next, create another list of all your liabilities, what you owe. OWE. And here's some examples of liabilities, which can be your credit card debit, mortgage, student loan, or auto loan, something like that. At the bottom of the list, add up the total value of all your liabilities. So now that you have the total value of your assets and liabilities, plug the numbers into the equation above and you'll get your net worth. If you have a positive net worth, that's good. So you can continue working to increase your net worth even more. However, if you have a negative net worth, you need to take a look at your budget and come up with a plan to increase your net worth. If you're young and you have a big student loan, you shouldn't worry too much as you haven't even started working yet. But for those of us that have outstanding student loans, we just need to do better. So make sure to recalculate your net worth every month or so to keep up to date with your finances. So a good free tool that has been suggested is called Mint to Track My Net Worth. So that's MINT, Mint to Track My Net Worth. That's a free tool to use. 10, start investing. Investing is one of the best ways to increase your net worth, but a lot of people stay away from it because they're scared of losing money. So instead of investing, they keep their money in a savings account. I mean, it's great, and you should have some money in a savings account for emergencies. But the truth of it is money in a savings account loses value over time. Did y'all hear that? Money in a savings account loses value over time. So the average savings account has a very tiny 0.06% annual percentage yield, which is APY, annual percentage yield, while inflation is around 1.7%. So that means that each year, the money you have in a savings account is going to have less and less buying power. So what can you invest in to stay ahead of inflation? Here's some options if you're really considering them. You can go into real estate, peer-to-peer lending, exchange traded funds, which is ETFs, stocks, and cryptocurrency. So crypto can be volatile, so invest at your own risk. Make sure you do your research on everything that I've spoken on. 11, communicate with your significant other. Notice how I wrote significant other, right? This financial tip, or notice how I spoke because I'm not writing it actually, but notice how I said significant other. This financial tip doesn't just apply to married couples, right? Money fights can affect any relationship. So the best way to avoid fighting about money with your significant other is to talk to them about it. Remember that you guys are a team. You should be talking to each other about your financial goals, and you should set a date once a month to go over your finances together. Like that would really make smart sense. If you're in a relationship, it would only make sense to, just communication is key. You should get together and talk about things, especially you guys are building together. Don't let money ruin a great relationship, because money, yes, that ruins plenty of relationships. But particularly because I'm speaking about intimate or relationships as far as a couple. Even if you're not a married couple, but you're a couple that you're in a relationship together and you're building with each other, you really should please make sure that you communicate. Communication is key. It's very effective. And last and final, number 12, side hustle to make more money. So ask your question. Are you happy with the amount of money you're taking home each year? Hell no. Excuse my French. If you're like most of us, a little bit of extra cash each month, it goes a long way. You know, they say you should definitely have multiple streams of income. Definitely in these days and times, you need to have multiple streams of income. So why not start a side hustle to supplement your income? So don't worry, you don't have to sacrifice all of your free time to start a successful side hustle. One of the big advantages of side hustles is that you can do it when you want and as much or as little as you want. The best advice I can give you is to just start. Use any extra time you can find and make a little bit of progress every day. Soon you'll be addicted to the side hustle lifestyle. So here's a question for you. How much money can you really make with a side hustle? Well, that's the other awesome thing about side hustling. The income is virtually limitless. Since you're not getting paid by the hour or a set salary, it's really up to you to decide how much you want to earn. The more you feed your side hustle, the more it grows. So in conclusion, my good people, the personal finance basis laid out in the 12 simple points that I have spoke about. So I have a question for you. Did you learn anything from what I spoke on in regards to the 12 simple points? If you did, and I hope that you did, then take action. Start working on improving your finances today, not tomorrow, because we as people can tend to put off today or put off tomorrow what we can do today. So I hope that you really got some great information from this, because honestly, I know that I did. It's just reminded me to be more disciplined, and especially since I want to buy a house and I want to go on a trip in 2019, I have to be accountable for me, and I have to discipline myself, because no one else can do it for me. And so the little things that I like to spend my money on, I'm going to have to, for a better word, sacrifice and do what I need to do. And also just everything that I'm working on, being co-partner in a business, and also working on things that I personally want to do to, gain financial wealth or freedom or stability. I have to be accountable and disciplined to do that and make a small sacrifice, because I know in the end it's going to definitely pay off. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you in advance for listening to the replay. Next, I would like to invite you guys to my social media platform, which of course I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and I have a YouTube channel. And you can find me under Aisha Speaks Jade for each and every one of them. Aisha Speaks Jade. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and my YouTube channel, which please go and subscribe, hit that thumbnail, also as well as hit that notification bell for any and all updates. Make sure that you take care of yourself, guys. Also, remember, while you're doing everything else, remember some self-care. Doesn't have to be anything big. It could be very small as just taking time out to just sit down, relax, read a good book, cook a good meal that you haven't done or never did. Like any little small thing, as long as it's taking care of you. When you're having challenges, go inside your self-care toolbox. If you have not created one, create a self-care toolbox for you that helps you recharge and regroup and get back on track and focus. Take care of the top of your head to the soles of your feet. Also know your worth and your value. Respect, love yourself starts from the inside. Create your happiness. Create your greatness. Always remember to be appreciative and have gratitude and be thankful, as well as being humble and sprinkle in being patient. I'm sending amazing, positive vibes as well as great energy to each and every one of you that hears my voice. And with that, I say namaste and ashe. Be good to yourself.